All right, let's see if this works. See if there's stream health here. Hello, everybody. Sorry we're getting started a little bit late. Um, and so far we have a blank screen. That's never a good sign. So hang on for a moment. It's our first time doing this, so let's hope it doesn't go wrong. Our apologies, everybody. All right, can you hear me? Yeah, I'm sure you can. Somebody say yes, I can hear you. If you can hear me. This could be the worst disaster in the world. Okay, you can hear me, you can't see me. And that's because this thing is doing some very strange things. Yeah, no picture yet. You know what, everybody, just give me a second or two. Make yourselves a cocktail or a coffee. Um, and we're going to get back to you. If you're following us on Instagram, you're probably watching this entire debacle. Um, for some reason, it's not doing my sources. Ah, of course, it's doing my rear camera, but not my front camera. So, um, yeah, bear with me. Sorry to blind everybody. You know what's nice about this? We're going to do this once, and then from now on, it'll be perfect. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. You are all so patient with me. Let's see if this works. Okay. I think you can see me now. Yes, I agree. Where's Q when you need him? All right. We're just going to get comfortable. Hope everybody's doing great this morning. David Zaritsky from the Bond Experience. We're here for our live stream. You could tell it's our first live stream because I'm messing up. Yeah, I have technology issues. It's absolutely amazing. By the way, Instagram is showing behind the scenes. So everybody on Instagram that's looking at us right now, you're seeing this huge debacle. And yes, thank you, Elvin. Mission accomplished. And this is an experiment. This might last 5 to 10 minutes if nobody shows up, or it could last an hour. We don't know. I've got a couple of subjects to talk about. I'm sure you do as well. We're going to take a lot of Q&A, um, and we'll see how it goes. First of all, thank you. Okay, you got a lot of things you could be doing on your Saturday morning or Saturday evening or Saturday afternoon, but the reality is that you're joining here today, and maybe you're drinking a coffee. By the way, I don't have anything exotic. I just have water. No fancy Vesper martini. I'm sure my throat's going to get dry, so had to do it like this. So here we go. It's 2019. Welcome to it. Can you still say Happy New Year on January 19th? I think you can. I think you can. So let's see who's joining. I see the Bond Armory. I see Jeff Weibo joining. A couple of what is the brand of the polo top? This is going to shock you. It's all about brown. This is the Sebastian. Did a lot of travel vlogs in this thing. I like it. It's a performance piece. What does that mean? It's this crazy wicking away things. So if technology goes awry and I start sweating bullets, you're not going to see it as much. Maybe Instagram will see it because they have a very different view of it, but I'm not sure. So let's begin. I'm going to start by welcoming everybody. We got Stephen Reed, we got Tim Hands, Peter Stewart, Martin Lyman, Chris Robinson. We're going to take questions, but I want everybody to do something. Stop for a moment asking questions or even saying good morning. I appreciate that. I love it. But tell me where you're from. Tell me your city, your country. I'd love to know where everybody's dialing in from. So I see somebody's dialing in all the way from the East Coast. Thank you for traveling this far. What are you, right down the street? Someone's got a Jamaican blue coffee in their hand. Harris Thomas, Skinny Ray. Go to Instagram. All right. What's Ray wearing? So someone's dialing in from the UK. Martin, I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. Yes, this is the Planet Ocean Casino Royale watch. It's the one I keep going back to. I see Amsterdam. Fantastic. Love Amsterdam. Georgia. Taiwan. Virginia. Norfolk, UK. London, England. Scotland. Austin, Texas. Home of Felix. Yes, it is. Germany. Newcastle, England. Toronto, Canada. Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn. I don't know how you do that. Brooklyn. Northern Ireland. French Canadian. Durham, UK. Austria. Love Austria. Sold in Austria. Austria and Switzerland. My gosh. Wilkesboro, North Carolina. He's Scottish, but living in Wales. That's Stephen Reed. So, welcome. I guess my point here is that this is a global, international audience. It always has been. You know, to me, the Bond experience has always been not about a vlog, not about a moment or an event or an experience. The Bond experience is about all of us living this invisible hobby and doing fun things together, drawing this community together. We got Mexico City, we've got Japan, Switzerland, Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Love it. Honeymoon there. So why don't we do this? We're going to start talking about certain things that we want to share. First of all, I'm sure a lot of you have seen that Secret Cinema has tickets. Now, love to hear from you who here is going to attend the Secret Cinema. And there's a reason I ask. It's not just about going to Secret Cinema. It is about the potential of things happening around Secret Cinema. So the Bond experience will be there. We're going to be going to hopefully a influencer and press event that's going to take place at the beginning of June. We do not have a specific date, but it would be great if we're going to be in London anyway to get together with many of you. Maybe to have a Bond experience event, maybe to connect with some of the brands. It's early days, but it would be great if people are doing Secret Cinema or they're just local to really connect. You know, even if we do something as meet up at a pub. Meeting faces and people, that is everything. You've seen some of the pictures that I posted in the new year. That is just a magical moment. So it's something we need to do. Jay Sadowski, hey there. How's it going? Jay Sadowski, by the way, says it's an expensive hobby. What? Yeah, it is. Listen, make no bones about it. I don't care if your collection is a backdrop or your collection fits on your desk at work. These are investments. I mean, this isn't just little tiny mere moments. So I acknowledge that this can be expensive. Save your shekels, save your pennies, save your rubies, wherever you're dialing from. Even Ringwood, New Jersey, Joseph Darlington. Ringwood, New Jersey? That's where you live? It sounds like a worm. It sounds like something that should be eating your digestive tract, Joe. I'm just saying. By the way, that's Joe from Being James Bond joining us this morning. And I love it like this because he can't talk. He can't interrupt here. But watch for future vlogs. So it would be great to do that. How many here are attending Secret Cinema? Maybe you can go into the chat there. I will tell you a little bit behind the scenes. I've been talking to some of the PR individuals, some of the people that are doing behind the scenes events. It looks like it's going to be pretty incredible. And there's been a lot of discussion, like, what do they do? You know, how do they turn Casino Royale into a live event? There's a lot of different settings that they can bring alive in Casino Royale. They can also, quite frankly, go into other movies. Nothing stops them from going to other movies. They did Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, but they had things from A New Hope. They can mix it together. Mersey Beats says, how has Bond changed you as a person? And by the way, from time to time, I will take questions. How has it changed me as a person? Oh gosh, I'll start with the physical, because pretty soon we're going to be doing a lot of vlogs in 2019 on nutrition and health and wellness. And they're not all the same, they're intertwined. But I was, and you'll see in one of the nutrition vlogs coming up, I was a very, what I call soft executive. I was never what I considered obese, but I was soft, you know, very pliable, very doughy. And it was around when Daniel Craig debuted his Casino Royale, and I saw him and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like nearly my age. We're a couple months apart. I'm going to be 51 soon. And I said to myself, probably between Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, dude, you have the clothing, you have the collection, you have the props, you have the gadgets, you have the toys. You don't have something really important, which is that kind of Bond essence or look. So I worked pretty hard. I got a trainer initially, 2 trainers, and started to read and connect with Simon Waterson and what he did with Daniel Craig. I do not have Daniel Craig's type of body. I'm shorter. You know, I'm 5'9" on a good day. And I started to look at nutrition and fitness. And by the way, at first it was just working out. And I'm like, oh, if I work out, and pretty soon I realized that nutrition's 70% of the battle, 30% is working out. So I changed my nutrition, made it more protein, made it more vegetables, a lot less carbs. Sugars were the enemies, even when and how. And I did some intermittent fasting. And so today I work out P90X3 7 days a week. It's 35 minutes. It's not a major commitment, but I love it. I don't go down to my basement, which is where I do it, and go, oh, God, I got to work out. I actually look forward to it. And then when I'm on vacation, I look forward to it because it's like a foreign kind of unique gym. So thank you for that question. By the way, one of the things we also want to talk about is amongst this particular call is the Bond community. And we're going to be talking about Bond 25. So Tim Hans, I see, says, what are your hopes for Bond 25, David? Okay, first of all, I'm going to try to avoid on this live stream, hey Instagram, speculation. There is so much speculation. And I hope you also appreciate a couple of things. First of all, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that know 1,000 times more than me, and I'm not talking insiders. I'm talking about fans who have great connections, etc. So it's hard for me to speculate, which is why you don't see as many Bond 25 videos anymore. Here's what I hope, though. It's almost cliche to say I want them to go back to a mission. I do. I don't want to see Bond in a relationship. I don't want to see, and I know they're bringing Madeline Swan back. I get it. And I don't even know if I want to see her killed right away. I almost want there to be a resolution where it's like, I'm a spy. There's people after me. There's going to be people after you. I need to jettison you because I need to go here and be a Bond lover boy. I want Bond lover boy. I want some of the things that I've known and grown with Bond and that you've done it. I want other 007s. I want Craig to be a badass. I love Quantum of Solace, not for the editing, not because I think it was the best story, but holy hell, did he seem like he could be badass and kick ass. And I want that Craig back again. And I know it's an older Bond, but I want that back. And I want to see Craig, and I know he will. I want to see him bring 100% of him to the story as well. Jeff Wybo, intermittent fasting is amazing. Yes, it is. If you don't know what intermittent fasting is, they call it IF. Check it out on YouTube. And by the way, we are going to be bouncing around. It's going to be a nightmare for you, those of you with OCD. But first of all, Jeff Wybo, want to call him out here. He is kind of the Canadian version of the Bond experience, but he's global as well. Maybe one of the nicest guys in the Bond community. Super cool. Kind of looks like Bond a lot more than I do. You know, he was in the military. He's lived the Bond lifestyle. He knows everybody in the Bond influencer community. But go check him out. And we'll put some links here. We're going to be talking about influencers in the past. And by the way, Jeff Wybo, if you look at him on Instagram, he has a really cool real estate lifestyle kind of video that goes on here where he talks about not just real estate, but how to connect and communicate with people. He throws events. Love me some Jeff Wybo. But yes, intermittent fasting is great. Let me tell you quickly what it is. Essentially, for 7 hours a day, you eat. You choose the 7 hours. You may choose 10 to 5, you may choose 12 to 7, and you can eat during those periods. You try not to eat things that are too bad, but you eat during that. The other hours of the day, you don't eat. You don't snack. You can have water, but you don't even have coffee. You don't drink. And what it does is, it's kind of interesting, this predatory response. At first, the first 2 weeks, your body thinks like it's starving, which, it starts to retain fat. And then suddenly your body starts getting used to this, and it starts to use it for energy. And I'm telling you, it sounds like I'm trying to sell you an intermittent fasting. We'll talk about it more in our nutrition vlog, but it works. I don't do it forever. I come back to it from time to time. Joseph Darlington, Weibo rocks. Yes, 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 yes. How about Henry Cavill as Bond? It's so weird. So you may have seen, I did a Today show, and they asked me about who I thought would be a great Bond. I said Henry Cavill. It's interesting. When I saw the latest Mission Impossible, I cooled my jets to him because I just was like, oh man, he's kind of acting the same way. Does he have the acting chops? I'm warming to him again. I think he could bring the look, the ferocity, the tenacity, the style. He's got the look. And I'm going to call it out. I think that I use my wife as a barometer. My wife looks at Pierce Brosnan and swoons. She looks at Daniel Craig and goes, okay, in good shape, fine. But with Henry Cavill, swoon again. So he's got that connection to Bond, of course. How do you feel about the idea of a departure from Fleming's idea of 007? I do think they need to go back to the source material. Go back to Ian Fleming. Start to iterate that. I think that's going to be interesting. Aidan Turner is the next Bond. I could see him doing it. Absolutely, he could do it. Couple things real quick. I do want to talk about brand events. So one of the things that you're going to be seeing more in 2019 are events. You've got Secret Cinema. You also have Spyscape. And I know a lot of you have heard about Spyscape. Spyscape is going to be having a James Bond experience, which I'm so excited about. It's going to be props, wardrobe, memorabilia. It's going to be all these different things that you can walk through and really live the James Bond experience here in New York City. We're going to be covering the press event, and we're going to be covering a vlog for this to really give you a taste. It's not going to last forever, but I think Spyscape is going to do it right. There is a vlog that's out there where before the James Bond event came here, we took a look at Spyscape and loved it. You live the lifestyle of a spy. What I think they're going to do with James Bond is put that whole James Bond veneer on it. That really gives everybody a little taste. And then we've got the Spy Museum. Washington, D.C., they're going to be having a launch of the new Spy Museum. You've seen us with George Lazenby and do the Spy Museum background and what the props are. They're losing all that James Bond connection. But they're also going to have at the Spy Museum a lot of more experiential events, more things that you can live. So you've got Washington, D.C., you've got New York City, and we've got some other things. So we're going to talk more about events in a second. But I have Peter Seferit says, Was für ein Ketchup? Was für ein Ketchup? Do I like, I don't know what that means. I don't have the translator. Do I like ketchup? I love ketchup. No, on certain things. I don't like it on eggs. French fries, which is Harris Thomas's main meal, nutritional wise, love ketchup. Does anybody know what Was für ein Ketchup is? Love it. They need Martin Campbell to come back. Yeah, but they're not going to have Martin Campbell. I would have loved to have Martin Campbell. He's so functional and capable as a director, but the way he connects with Bond, and listen, I've seen some Martin Campbell stinkers, but there's something about him and Bond and reconnecting. I love me some Martin Campbell. Fukunaga, I'm looking forward to. I don't hate the idea of Fukunaga. I just don't know it. I mean, I've seen parts of Maniac, First Detective. Look, I just want a Bond movie. I want behind the scenes sets, etc. Did you try to contact the Broccoli's to appear as a brief guest in Bond 25? That would be fun. Hervé, thank you. If anybody knows the Broccoli's or any of the producers, I will be a street sweeper. I've said it a million times. I will be a street sweeper. I have friends who, they were in Quantum of Solace, and you see like their ear and the side of their hair and their nose. I'll do a nose, hair, and ear cameo, I'll work out my ear. My ear will get buff for this role. I will pump iron. I'll shave my head. I'll grow a beard. I'll grow a unibrow. I don't care. I want to be in Bond 25. Would love it. And I promise not to squid out. I could be professional. I'm a CEO of an advertising company. I can turn on the professionalism. I'm not always like this. But one of the things, should Bond's older age be a factor in Bond 25? Excellent question, Daniel Hickey. It's strange to me. I felt like Skyfall really contacted with his age. And I thought it was a bit premature. I thought that would be better served up in Spectre. It's almost like it was kind of backwards. Like, do that in Spectre, and then should Skyfall come after Spectre? But I don't know if I want, it's like, Danny Glover. I'm getting too old for this shit. I don't want Daniel Craig going around going, look at me, I'm old, my knees hurt. We get it. He's 50, 51. He's 51 when he's actually going to start filming. We'll get that, and maybe that they have something where he kind of winces. But I like that they're showing that Bond's fallible, that he could be hurt. I want to see a Bond with like rips on his face and red knuckles. I don't want to see the Spectre superhero one. I think we'll only see Martin Campbell back if the series went through another reboot. I agree, Martin. I agree. I totally agree with you. Let's talk about other events for 2019, because I think it's worth mentioning. I am having my own event. Now, I want to step back for a second. My event is going to be small. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be less than 20, 25 people. You may have heard me talk about it. It's going to be a brand walking tour of New York City. We may actually extend this brand tour to a London version, but it's early days. Stay tuned for that. But the New York one, I've connected with and contacted a lot of the past Bond brands, current and even future Bond brands. So when we do this, we're talking about doing this mid-May. We're going to have some people that in the Bond community there that are pretty well known, but we're also going to have about 50% just you. And we're probably going to have a lottery system because, again, we can only have 20 to 25. It gets too unwieldy. But the good news is I'm really excited about this event because I've always admired people that put on these events. You have people like Richard Skillman, who's been doing events and bringing people together. He does it such well. He does it first class. I've been to one of the events. You meet people that you just create lifelong friendships. And then you've got Martin Mulder, who, if you don't know him, he's doing the On Her Majesty's Secret Service 50th anniversary. But he's done ones from You Only Live Twice in Japan. Oh my gosh. Talk about first class, premium class. He just does it right and does so much research. I want this to be a day-long event. And, my thing is brands and lifestyle and clothing and the look of Bond. And so I'm going to bring that together in an event. But for everybody else outside of those 20 people, I want you to live the event with us. So we're going to be doing live streaming from every location, every brand. And we're also going to be doing something different. I think you're going to love this. We're going to have 4 individuals at the event have GoPros. And you're going to be able to sign in to a website and pick your screen, pick your angle, and hear and see everything that is happening as we're hearing it. You're going to see the shuttle ride. You're going to be at our lunch. You're going to be at our dinner. If we have entertainment in the evening, we do. You're going to see that. Maybe an interesting interview that has to do with Bond 25. I don't know. But you're going to be able to encounter all of these things. We're going to connect this globally. So, yes, this is going to be Chris Robinson. It's going to be New York City. But we are hoping, early days, to extend this to a London version. We'll have to see. We believe the Bond experience will be in the UK twice this year. So we're hoping to extend it in some way or another. And there's other events. I mean, the reality is you've got Spy Escape, Spy Museum. You've got the press releases, which it'll be interesting to see who they invite to those. But you've got a lot of different connection points that are happening. And what's interesting is in March, the hunt begins. I mean, we have to acknowledge that. We're going to start seeing, hopefully, behind the scene photos. A lot of detectives out there, and I think back to when we first started doing this around the Casino Royale time and trying to identify clothing. We have so many detectives out there who are trying to connect with the costume designer and what the look is. And oh my gosh, is that a button from Oliver Brown? Who is that? And I think it's going to be highly interesting this time. And we have people everywhere. Everywhere. That's my horrible Mr. White. Let's bring back the classic Bonds of old instead of trying to imitate Jason Bourne in the IMF series. ABC Def said that. Halla freaking Lulia. I agree. I think that Quantum with the editing was trying to emulate Bourne. I think even with Spectre, they tried to do the IMF team. It was too much team play to me. This is just my opinion. And even with the whole, like, you know, he's my brother, my little brother. You know, the whole brother thing and things like that. It was too much of, you know, is that Marvel? Is it connecting? Like, no. Bond is Bond. And you know something? If you stick to a formula and build from there, I have high hopes for this. Jaguar as a Bond car, said Mersey Beats. Sure. Hey, listen, I'm telling you right now, it will be Aston Martin. Not 50%, not 80%. It will be an Aston Martin car in Bond 25. Aston Martin has already been deemed as one of the licensees, so one of the brands. So if they don't have one of their cars in there, I will be shocked. Which I love me some Aston Martin. It'd be cool to have another car, maybe the bad guy's car. I don't know. How good it is because we're going martinis. We get the first glimpses of exotic locations starting then. Percy, you're absolutely right. So March, we get the locations. It's interesting with the locations. Some of us have heard rumors. Some of us have heard more than rumors. There's some facts out there, though, you know, of where they've been scoping out, and some film groups have been talking about tax incentives. So we're getting an idea of potentially some of the environments that Bond's going to be in. I have a wish list. I want to see Bond back in scuba diving outfits. I want to see, you know, him in a military outfit. I do want to see him. I love that JBR Radio says this. Sneaky Bond, you know, in a black outfit like in GoldenEye and in Goldfinger and so many different outfits. Go back to Sean Connery when he has these sneaky Bond moments. And Craig is perfect. You know, he moves so well. I would love him in Sneaky Bond in some sort of really cool, you know, settings. So, interesting AB intro for your videos. By any chance, noticed you've had a few different ones. Pretty cool, but you can definitely do better. Says Raining. So this Raining is talking about my introduction to my videos. So let me talk about my videos, because I'm just going to bring up what you guys are bringing up. There was a time when I had a few people come to me and said, we can make your videos so glossy and so beautiful and have such incredible editing. There's a reality with, we'll call it influencer marketing. I know that's this marketing term. The more authentic it is, the more guerrilla warfare it is, the more people like it. As soon as it starts to get a little bit glossy, people are like, ugh, this is so highly produced. So there's two things going on. I want to keep this very authentic. I want you to always know that David Zaritsky is doing this. I'm running my own mini studio. I'm doing the producing, the content, the editing, a lot of the camera work nowadays. I set it on an iPod like this. So the reality is that I could get my own editing. I could get my own agency to do some of this part-time. I could get friends to do this, but I want this to be quick also. I can bring you a vlog once a week, sometimes twice a week, and these types of live videos because we are doing this on the fly. You're living the Bond experience with us. And that was the whole germ. That was the whole idea of me doing the Bond experience. It's that I'm going to live my life. I'm going to engage with Bond stuff. I love a partner in crime to do it. You are that partner in crime. You are coming with me on some of these things, sometimes physically when we connect at events, sometimes socially like this. So, you know, my beginnings and stuff like that, the really quick one and some of the other ones and the shark going on bikinis, I've got so many. but we're always trying to play with different things. You're also going to see some kind of interesting new logo designs. We're conjugating some things with the Bond experience because we have some interesting swag coming, but you'll see more about that later. Any particular outfits you're hoping to see in Bond 25? Craig clothes have been the best since Connery, and that is Brendan Baritone. Baritone. I hope your voice is deep, Brendan. If it isn't, I'm sure you get a lot of flack. Outfits. I want to see some casual outfits. I love Bond in suiting, of course, tuxedo, but there's something about the casual outfits that kind of connect it with everyday us. Think about the ones that you wear to work. Think about the ones that you connect with. I mean, I'm wearing a blue polo right now. How many blue polos do you own? I know you own a lot. I know you do. So I want to see more casual clothing. I have an inkling that there are some familiar brands that will be doing pieces for Bond 25. I think they'll be doing them based on the environment that Craig is in. So if he's in a tropical setting, maybe you'll see a familiar brand. If he's in a winter setting, maybe you'll see a familiar brand, but who knows? That's going to be up to the costume designer and the brands that connect. The producers need to bring back the memorable and electrifying music of the John Barry era. Let's talk about music. If you haven't, on James Bond Radio, and by the way, James Bond Radio, I want to give a shout out. One of my favorite, if not my favorite podcasts out there. I get so excited and giddy when there is one out there because they're consistent. They're once a week, sometimes more. And, not all the other podcasts are consistent. I like them. I love the James Bond Complex, obviously being James Bond. I love some of the other podcasts, but I love consistency with James Bond Radio. So Tom and Chris, they make my commutes and give me happy moments. And they're funny as hell, their personalities. But there's a gentleman on James Bond Radio named John Williams. And if you haven't heard John Williams, not that John Williams, different John Williams, uber cool guy, very nice, super articulate. He does the music of James Bond, music of Bond. And one of the things he brings up is, David Arnold was a great connection with John Barry, and we've kind of lost our stride a little bit. I think that as well. Tom Newman had some functional and serviceable things, but guys, seriously, if I hear an announcement that they brought David Arnold back, I'll publicly do a happy dance. I will put it on Instagram. I'll put it on Facebook. I will do a happy dance because David Arnold got it. He really did. My favorite non-John Barry music soundtrack is probably Tomorrow Never Dies. Now, argue with me about whether you like the movie, but that music is so great. The Bond theme is there. The main title theme is there. It integrates really well. Backseat Driver? Shut up! Come on, argue with me about a better driving song when you're going down a country lane in your car. I don't care what you have, but you put on Backseat Driver, you're breaking speed limits. You're going off ditches. You're doing barrel rolls. You're destroying cars and probably livestock. Love that. It's time Felix came back into the movie. By the way, this is from Felix Leiter. Hey, Felix Leiter. That was a little self-serving, don't you think? Yes, I would like Felix Leiter. Jeffrey Wright teased, as did Olga Kryenko, butchered that pronunciation. I would love to see Felix back. I want us to be careful. I don't want there to be Camille and Felix and Tanner and Moneypenny and M and everybody's out in the field and, they're doing this slow motion walk towards the camera and there's explosions behind them because they're taking on the bad guys and, woo, Bond's got his posse. God, please don't do that. Make Bond have a connection with Felix out in the field where he's just connecting, and I'd be very happy about that. Reboot with Bond in the Navy, Alex, yes, we can absolutely do that. So one of the things that we should talk about is the different kind of influencers out in the community. We've got James Bond Radio. We talked about, obviously, Jeff Wybo. We've got all of these individuals that connect on. And yes, we would all want Jeffrey Wright to return. Somebody said Matcon Roids. kind of play on words. African Rundown Casino Royale. Love it. It's got really great energy to it, etc. Okay. What I'd love everybody to do right now, because we've got a lot of different individuals from all over the world, is to really think about kind of what do we love about the Bond genre. It could be about a way it looks, etc. I'd like you to just start listing it because I want to get a sense of who you are. We have a very interesting audience. We have nearly 3 million unique views on YouTube, even more on Vimeo. We've got about 17 to 18,000 subscribers and followers on YouTube. But getting to know all of you is really important because if you look at statistics, it is male 25 to 45 with expendable income, which the Brnds love. But who are we? Who is this connection? So keep smashing that like button, guys. Great way to give back. Thank you. You can connect on like, etc. I'm hoping that we're all connecting on this Saturday. And by the way, if it's Saturday evening for you, what are you drinking? You know, what are your go-tos? I will tell you, last night I had an amazing tequila. Love some tequila. You know, my go-to drink is usually some sort of Vesper or martini drink. Love that. The other question I want answered, since we have a decent amount of people on, is what do you want to see more of the Bond experience? I mean, we have a pretty interesting calendar of different things. Like I said, we're doing nutrition, health, wellness. We're going to have some surprise guests coming on talking about fitness, getting everybody into Bond shape for Bond 25. We're going to be talking about fashion, style, and different events. We're going to be talking about food, etc. But what do you want to see more of? Roddy says you want to see more of bourbon. Agreed. Tailoring. Yes, somebody actually asked out there. I did some interesting tailoring around the Mason & Sons Goldfinger jacket. I had Steve the Tailor. Steve the Tailor, who's he? He's my local tailor. He's from Italy. Oh my gosh, he's great. I would walk in there and I say, Steve, is there any way you can make this look good on me? And he goes, this is his go-to. He goes, if anything is possible. That's my horrible, horrible Italian. But maybe we'll interview Steve the Tailor about what he does. Matt Polson says you're interested in the fitness videos. Yes, you will love the fitness videos. We have 2 guests that are going to be coming on. One very much associated with Bond, one very much associated with movies and acting and getting, and the whole idea around this is not about all of us looking like Bond. That would be great. It's really about us being able to move better, having strength, flexibility. You know, all the things we start to lose as we get older. In a few days, I'm going to be 51 years old. You lose these types of things: strength, flexibility, speed. These are the 3 things you tend to lose. What happens is when you work on all these things, like any actor, you can move better. You know, you stumble, start to roll your ankle, you recover better. As a side effect, your body starts to look better. Your shoulders start to get a little bit more round. Your pecs. Now, this is just, I'm sorry, guys. As you get older and you start to lose testosterone, your pecs get a little pointier. It's just happened. You get this thing called gynecomastia. Don't look it up. Trust me. But it also happens when you have extra weight on you. So a lot of positive side effects happen when you do this type of movement and workout. That's what our guests are going to really focus on. And if you have any resolutions, you're going to love this because it's going to keep it real. It's not going to be like, you need to join a gym and you need to buy $10,000 worth of, and you need to buy these supplements. It ain't going to be about that. Somebody says we want a Bond in Asia experience. Yes. I would love to go to Phuket. I would love to go to so many places in Asia. I will say, I think I know the destinations for 2019. I'll refrain from talking about them too much here because they're either going to happen or they're not. But I will say this, and this I think will be kind of interesting for the audience. There are individuals out there that would love to share information. There's something called embargo. So very few times an event or a press release will say, hey, sign this NDA. That does sometimes happen. NDA is non-disclosure. Um, but when they get in touch with somebody like me, or somebody like so many individuals out there that share the news, Remert from Bond Lifestyle, things like that. When you see the news go up, like we just had a news blurb um, on Secret Cinema, they'll send us that either the morning of or a day before, and there's a little blurb on that that says this is embargoed until this time on this date. So although we would love to tell you things, there are so many things that are us on social media that create these vlog moments are what's called embargoed, and we have to respect that. Number one, if you break the embargo, they'll probably stop engaging you. And we love to be engaged. It's fun because there's going to be more events, live events that we can bring to you and have these associations. The other thing is, I love that now more than ever, Eon, Universal, all the producers, they're so organized with Bond 25 with how the brands connect on social media, what they're doing, what they can do, when they're doing it, calendarization, how Universal may be engaging individuals from a movie standpoint. They're getting really organized, and the heat and the action and the machine is really starting to build up. So you have to respect that. So, if we don't share something right away, I it's tough because people are like, they get a little hurt. They're like, oh, well, how long did you know this? Or, why can't I be involved? It's like, well, some of these things you just can't talk about. How about what I eat in a day video? Oh, that's one Jeep Cam. Love this guy. Love the family. Hey, guys. Hope you're doing down south. I'm sure it's much warmer than this frigid weather. What I eat in a day video, every now and then I will put on Instagram. But if you're not following us on Instagram, it's kind of fun because I can put a lot more videos and images. I have a minimum of 1 or 2 images a day. I do storyline. I sometimes put on what I eat. I think when we start the nutrition videos, I will be putting in my stories what I eat. And so you kind of will see what I eat, a day in the life. I will tell you a typical day for me is when I work out, after I work out, within 15, 20 minutes, I have protein, probably about 40 grams worth of protein. We're going to talk about this more in the nutrition vlogs. But for lunch, I'll tend to have a little bit of sweet potato, a little bit of avocado, some kale, and chicken with nothing on it. Maybe like pieces of rotisserie chicken, no skin. And that's my lunch. And I'll have it in a container so I know how much I'm getting. For dinner, my wife, and I'm not just doing this because, she's never going to watch this because this video is too long. My wife is, I'm not exaggerating, the best chef cook in the world. I'd rather eat her food than anybody else's. I'm so blessed. She looks the way she does, and she's funny, and she's my best friend, and she cooks really well. So, holy shit, jackpot. But her food is also healthy. She's celiac, so we don't really introduce bread into the food in the household. I'll have bread out there and some pasta from time to time, but I limit it. So it's super healthy. So my meals, although delicious and nearly gourmet, are healthy. So I've lucked out. You may not be that fortunate, but we're going to talk about that. Hey, David, it's your frenemy. I'm curious about what? Feminist, Kevin Rose. I'm curious if you will examine what 007 smells like. What colognes do you think Bond applies? I could. We could definitely talk about cologne, essence. I am going to be doing a vlog on the toiletries of James Bond, some of the things he uses. Maybe some news. I will tell you that there is, for Bond 25, I believe, going to be a brand that's very familiar to everybody that will have to do with Bond's upkeep of his body. I won't say what part of his body, but I know I'm being like really mysterious. But we're going to be talking about those types of things. The licensed colognes, I'm not a fan of them. I talked about one for the video where we did the holiday video, and the smells. I mean, I'd much rather go with like a Florist or Tom Ford. I will tell you on a day-to-day basis, I still wear tobacco vanilla. I do. I think the Tom Ford scents are good. They're subtle. Everybody's used to me smelling like that. A lot of people using like these essence oils like mint and things like that. Which, by the way, I'm loving that the fact that you guys are talking to each other, because I'm answering questions, I'm going on, but you guys should be talking to each other. Um, hey, David, just took the kids to the brand new KGB museum in Manhattan. I definitely recommend checking it out. Even has the umbrella dart gun they used to assassinate that fella in 1978. Roland, I didn't even know there was a KGB museum. I will definitely check it out. Is there a big difference in quality and comfort when you wear Bond suits, Tom Ford, Anthony Sinclair, Brioni, than other suits from high-end brands? I'm going to speak for myself. Tom Ford has frickin' ruined me. And I know I've got vlogs out there where I'm like, oh my gosh, the experience is, jotted down. Then there's Love Fest with Tom Ford. To me, when I wear a Tom Ford suit, it straightens me up. It pushes my chest. I feel like I'm wearing armor. I stand up straight. I'm proud. I have that invisible Bond connection. I walk around. But it fits really well. I think the designers at Tom Ford understand that. Now you can argue with me, oh, but that one's too tight. I know. I was trying to get the movie look. Don't slaughter me. But there's something about the quality too of a Tom Ford suit. I have a lot of other suits. I don't tend to wear them. They probably have cobwebs on them, maybe some dust. Because I go to my Tom Ford suits because I love the way they fit. They make me feel in a psychological connection with Bond. So, Paul says, Tom Ford and David Zaritsky have ruined me and my savings account. I apologize, he said insincerely. Listen, I get it. By the way, I've heard so many great stories, I can't publish them, of people connecting with me and saying, my wife loves you, hates you. She loves you because I'll watch the video and I feel like, maybe we've all improved our look a little bit more or the way we live. And that's what's kind of nice about this. And by the way, I'm not besmirching anybody that is into Star Trek or Star Wars. I was into Star Wars in a big way. But let's face it, shining up a stormtrooper outfit versus, eating good food and fitness and, understanding how and what to wear is a different way of life, but it can get expensive. So there's a lot of spouses out there that get a little upset. I get it. And I apologize to them, but it's going to get worse. In fact, you should tell them that with Bond 25, I would say, honey, go to your significant other and go, honey, listen, I'd love not to purchase these things, but you know what? I feel pretty compelled. And I want to support the economy. I want to support the global economy because if I don't, who can? And these poor individuals with these brands, it's my duty. Yeah, that's not going to work. I don't know. We'll think of something better. Oliver Brown has a 70% sale and yet still has it into my account, says Percy Gates. You and me both. Listen, Oliver Brown, the reason I like so many of these brands, and I get it. I talk about a lot of these brands incessantly, but there are a few brands I can count on, 1.5 hands that have embraced the Bond fans, have embraced the Bond experience, the community. They get it. They appreciate it. They don't look at us like pariah. And so, you know what? I'm going to give them more business, my business and others. And I'm going to talk about them and the experience. Oliver Brown is a really cool one because in a few weeks' time, we're going to be doing a really cool vlog and videos on kind of a Shrublands-like experience with the Bond experience. I'm not going to give you any details. You'll see what it is. But Oliver Brown is about that lifestyle. They are about winter sun. They're about connecting to the Bond lifestyle and the experience and the 70s and all these different things and the way you feel and the way you look and the way things are cut. So Oliver Brown, they're driving that experience. And yes, they creep into our wallets. Welcome to it. Can we get a full tour of your collection? I think I have one. Don't I have a vlog out there that kind of tours things around? Here's what I'll do. At the very end of this, I will walk around towards the end of this streaming and maybe take a walk around and you can see some of the pieces that we have. Jeff says, I'll be in Miami at the end of the month. Let's have some evenings. What Bond stuff should I do? Fountain Blue, etc. Yeah, go to Joe's Stone Crabs. I just went there. Joe's Stone Crabs is amazing. The food is great. You got that Ian Fleming connection. Fountain Blue, Sorry, gang. I'm not a fan. Went there. I know it's got the Goldfinger connection, but it is so overrun by punks and just individuals that I don't think you want to spend a lot of time with. My opinion. Bond Armory says, Shane, the P99 is fantastic, but I think he should update his full size to the Walther PPQ M2 Navy. I think you need to have Ray from, truly, from the Bond Armory. And if you're not following the Bond Armory, do it. He's really interesting. He knows his weaponry. I think they need to have Ray as a consultant. I think they need to talk to him about what should Bond and Bond bad guys really be focusing on. News on Bond 4 Blu-rays and the 25th anniversary box. I haven't heard of that. Are they going to update the Blu-rays? I would love that. By the way, you want to hear something shameful? I have multiples of the VHS and DVD. When the Blu-rays first came out, I got them. I discovered that there were some few that I don't own. And Joe Darlington was over. We were doing a vlog, and he's like, Dave, how dare you not have this particular one? So how often do I do the straight razor shave? I haven't done a straight razor shave, I want to say, in about a year or two. It's a toughie. You need to have time. You need to have patience. I think from a technology standpoint, there are things that are better. I will tell you right now, I use a Gillette. The sensor Gillette with the yellow strip. It's comforting. I've got really sensitive skin. You can probably tell. This is, probably as tan as I get. So I use technology, and I use Brnds Supplies cream, and that's what I use on a day-to-day basis. Norway would be an amazing place to film, says Paka. I agree. And by the way, Norway, for my wife and I, Bond or no Bond, has always been on my wish list to visit. We've got great friends there. The environment looks amazing. It looks like it's from another world. We watched the show Vikings. We're addicted to it. So the people are great. They've got a great history, food, people, lifestyle, environment. Holy hell, please, Bond producers, film in Norway. If they film in Norway, I can promise you, if they film in Norway, you will see the Bond experience in Norway sometime in 2019. We're going to hop a plane. Even if we don't see the filming or go to the exact filming sites, we want to get to Norway. Absolutely. Tim Hands, do you like scrambled eggs the way Bond does? Sort of. Love me some scrambled eggs. Love eggs in general. Protein scale. Chicken, eggs, I get it. Aren't they the same? Pork, fish, red meat. Those are that's my scale of protein that I love. But I love eggs. I don't put butter in my eggs like he does. Matt Spazer, who, if you haven't, if you never looked at Matt Spazer's The Suits of James Bond, go check it out. Go check out his website. He has an incredible podcast too. It's one of these ones that I absolutely love with Peter from Human Research. They do something called From Tailors with Love. It's so cool. It's short. It's bite-sized. There are podcasts out there. I love them, but sometimes they're like 3 hours long, and I'm like, commitment. But they have one. It's like 18 to 25 minutes long. It's bite-sized. But Matt talks a lot about the lifestyle from a traditional standpoint. So it's not just tailoring. It's, he very often legitimately has like marmalade and butter, eggs. Maybe he doesn't add as much butter as Ian Fleming, but he loves that stuff. I do too. So some more questions. David, what's your favorite, who is your favorite Bond girl? Who is my favorite Bond girl? That's a really great question. Okay, let me break it down. So from a look standpoint, I know you're misogynistic and one-dimensional, David. Guilty. Vesper. Evergreen. I don't know. First of all, I like brunettes, but I think there's something about her. She's the right combination of exotic. I also like women that look athletic, but they look like a woman. I don't know what that means, but there it is. And I can't take it back because this is live. And there's no editing. So, and I also like her as she's my favorite Bond girl from a personality. I think that it was very believable that she and Bond connected. I didn't really buy it in Spectre, Madeline Swan and Bond. I think it was like kind of dimensional. But I do think that it was very believable. So there you have it. I'm a French fan, says Louis, which I think is Louis. Love French fans. That's great. How do I like Ms. Goodnight? Kevin Rose says Ms. Goodnight. Do I like Goodnight? Britt Eklund is gorgeous, and she still is today. And she was then, and I love that. She looked very fit. There wasn't a lot that she could do with the role. And I don't know if that was the director, because I don't think, The Man with the Golden Gun didn't get the best performances out of people in general. But, oh, by the way, Harris Thomas, he's going, Jane Seymour. You are biased, my friend, because he got to meet Jane Seymour at of all places, a furniture convention, a furniture show. His vocation is he's in the furniture business, and his girlfriend was good enough, it's due to her, that she encountered Jane Seymour and said, my boyfriend's a huge fan. Or actually, I don't think she did that. I think she called him and said, you got to get your ass over here. And he sprinted, he was sweating, and saw Jane Seymour and got to take a picture. We're all jealous. And Jane Seymour, fine wine, just has gotten better with age. I mean, there were so many Bond girls, I'll still call them Bond girls, Bond women, who have gotten better with age. It's kind of amazing. I personally wanted the sister of Jill Masterson to have more screen time. Sure, why not? Bernice Marlowe. Oh my gosh, yes, Bernice Marlowe. My wife costumed as Bernice Marlowe for one of the Halloweens. Hold on one second. I'm fixing my Instagram. Give me 1 second, everybody. You're probably seeing my neck right now. Okay, sorry about that. Just had to fix the Instagram. Bernice Marlowe, she was great in Skyfall. I love the fact that she has these really subtle moments at the bar. Like even when she's like, her eyebrow raises and she goes, not like him. I would have wanted to see more of that. And all of a sudden, a couple scenes later, she's dead. I mean, wow, no, don't do that. And, Monica Bellucci, fantastic. David, what do you think is the worst Bond film? Do you think it's Die Another Day or Quantum of Solace or another one? I actually like Quantum of Solace. I'm in that camp. I've gotten used to the editing and action. I like the storyline because it's a mission. Love the style. I like Daniel Craig's portrayal of James Bond in Quantum of Solace. Die Another Day, yeah, it's probably amongst one of the kind of meh ones. Die Another Day is like a couple of different Bond films. I think the first third, maybe even a half, is kind of like serviceable and good, and then it just goes downhill. For me, I've got things like A View to a Kill, not crazy about it. License to Kill. What are some of the other ones that, Die Another Day, I think is kind of shticky and interesting and a sign of the times, but is it one that I'm just going to put on? So when I go on a flight, especially long flights, I'll try to watch new movies on the plane, but if I can't connect or the internet's down or whatever, I'll watch a Bond film. My regular Bond films is I'll just go back to the Craig films, which I tend to watch over and over. Should Bond 25 be more like Casino or more like Skyfall, says Matt Paulson. In my opinion, I think it should be... It's a really great question. If I had to choose between the two, and I'm going to answer your question and not dodge it, I'll say Casino because it had really good relationship. It had a very brisk, good storyline. I think it was a very interesting arc. It showed the right amount of angst, but it wasn't angst that... It was angst within Bond that not he had to fight with, but it was angst about the relationships that weren't family-wise. I don't know if that was clear, but Casino Royale. Quantum is the Empire Strikes Back of the Bond films. From Legally Bond. Hey, Legally Bond, how you doing? Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Empire Strikes Back. I know people would argue that, but you're probably right. And I think I know what you mean. I think The Empire Strikes Back has all these like really cool connection moments. Visually, it's interesting. You got these really great characters like Boba Fett that are fleshed out, and Quantum of Solace I think is like that too. Are the internet rumors true that Daniel Craig doesn't want to do Bond films anymore after Bond 25? Says Action Man 73. I don't know, but I don't think he is. I think this is it. And I think it's a couple things. I think he's ready to hang it up, but I honestly don't think he wanted to end on Spectre. I think he's definitely good for one more. I think he looks great. I think he could still move really well. I'm his age, and I could still move well. You saw me just connect on Instagram. But you know what? I am ready to see a younger Bond after Daniel Craig's outing here. I'm ready to see a Bond who is, 32 to 36, like that age group. I think they should do that so he can grow a little bit. And then I'm ready for that. I don't need to see a Bond that is my age or looks like me. I'm totally fine with that. Hi from the UK. I'm very jealous of your collection, says Universal Exports. You do not need to be jealous of my collection at all because I tend to share visually my collection. First of all, thank you. My collection is an amalgamation of a lot of different things. It is, I have a representation, as you could probably see here, of all the Bond movies, and yes, I'll have one for Bond 25, of the props and some of the wardrobe that I really connected with. I'm telling you, there are people in this globe, even in the United States, that have a much bigger collection than me. To be honest, much more impressive, more screen use, more wow moments. But I love mine because I've put all of this together. I've hunted every piece myself. I haven't bought someone else's collection. I had to find all these things. Every little piece has a story. Everything has a connection with somebody interesting, I think. I've met some good friends in acquiring these people like Ed Maggiani, who are just like, oh my God, like the world's best people in the world. Prop makers who my mouth drops. I'm like, these people have so much freaking talent. I'll never have any talent like that. But what you don't tend to see is like what's in my closet. Oh my gosh, my wife can attest to this. I have so many Bond clothing pieces. And I try not to wear them as costume pieces because you get guilty of cosplay, but I've got so many pieces that some of them are on display because I have multiple items of the same thing. And then I have pieces that I'll just grab and sometimes forget that this is a Bond piece. I've talked about it so many times. It's that invisible hobby. It's, all of a sudden I'm looking down and I see, oh my gosh, that's right. I'm wearing a Planet Ocean. I totally forgot that. So you should be proud. It's amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I do like I like to have little mini events at my place for people that I know, people that I'm friendly with. It's not like, we're open to the public. Because let's face it, we can meet at Chuck E. Cheese. That is an option. We can meet at Fridays. We can meet at a pub. But you come here and I'm going to pour you a drink and we're going to have some good food and we're going to hang down here and we're going to play with the props and we're going to watch a movie surrounded by pieces from the movie. So it'll be fun. Matt H., do you think the next Bond will in fact use the newest Omega Seamaster or will they use something else not released yet? I think they will use an Omega. I don't think they're going to go to Rolex. So it'll be interesting to see which one they choose, if they're going to go harken back. But I love the Planet Ocean. Good morning from Toronto. What's your most valuable Bond item, says Jamie Randall. That has got to be, from a financial standpoint, I'm just going to play with that game. It has got to be the Armani jacket from Casino Royale. It is screen used. We did a video and vlog when we had a show here that does, it's kind of like the Antique Roadshow, but they looked at my collection. They did a small video on it. You can find it on our vlogs. And they bequeathed different value to it. And I think that the jacket came in at some buku bucks, like maybe 35,000, which seems high, but it's screen used. It's got these little provenance areas that you can look at, etc. So that's probably my most expensive item. It's also one of my favorites. I love trying it on and putting it on and kind of reflecting back to probably what is my favorite James Bond movie, which is Casino Royale. Joseph Darlington, how about the Aston Martin in the garage? That qualifies. It does qualify. I love my Aston Martin. It has been a journey to get it. It's been my dream car, my fantasy car. I have a Vantage. I don't have a quote unquote screen accurate Aston Martin, but I love mine. I love the way it drives, the way it sounds, the way it connects. When I go into the garage, I appreciate every moment of it. It's kind of in hibernation right now, so I have to like run it from time to time. But I love the color. I was after a specific year, 2006 Vantage, because I wanted a certain look inside and outside and the way it connected with me. So yeah, I really do like it. Do you think Bond will die in the next movie? Wow. No. The reason I don't think he's going to die is because Bond is a franchise. And I think Bond is timeless. I think Bond has skipped a step here and there, but it finds its way. And even if the producers, even if Barbara and Michael sell the Bond franchise, I think somebody's going to want to initiate it. It means too much to too many people. It connects. I don't think they'll ever kill off Bond and make it a 007. And no, I just don't think it's going to happen. Can't wait to see the latest Bond movie with the latest technology. You and me both. It'll be interesting. I don't have any feasible guess. I can't even speculate if it's going to be a heavy gadget-laden Bond or if it's going to be a technology using your phone and your wits Bond. I'd love maybe a small gadget, but I'd love mostly Bond using his wits, using a piece of hair or, look at On Her Majesty's Secret Service, when basically George Lazenby uses a piece of eraser and a side of a ruler to break out of there. That's what I want to see. Action Man says Aston is not a daily driver. No, it's not. We had a snowstorm. We're about to get a snowstorm. It's ice. It is not a daily driver. I do have another car that is very responsible, very family-like. It's an Infiniti sedan, and it's really good in the snow. So lest you think I'm doing Die Another Day circles around New Zealand and Iceland, like Pierce Brosnan, I'm not doing it. Do you have any idea of where the secret cinema set will be in relation to the movie? Asks John Smith. That's a great question. I don't. I do know they had a venue all set. So this is kind of interesting. You may not know this stuff. They had a venue. They were all set. And then all of a sudden, they released the tickets. This was the first time. And they were obliterated. The tickets sold out, I want to say, within the first day. First of all, if you're going to go to Secret Cinema, I'm begging you to get the higher end one, the deluxe ones, because they come with gifts and shirts and you get a better experience. And I think it's only like $50 more or something like that. So it's worth it for us crazy Bond fans. But those sold out really quickly. Then the other ones sold out within a day or two. So they knew that the venue that they were going to have, not only did they want to increase tickets, increase dates, they needed to increase the size. So it went from, probably some warehouse that was like this to some event like this. So I have no idea where it's going to be. And I don't think you find out until maybe a couple weeks ahead of time. And what I think is really cool is when you find out where the event is, you get a character. You get like a profile, like you're going to be like on M's team or you're going to be on Q's team. You're not Bond. You may be a 00, but you go dressed as a character. So somebody asked me like, "Hey David, are you going to wear like the Morocco outfit? Are you going to wear, the Tom Ford shirt and the Bruno Cucinelli? And are you going to wear, I don't know, I may be wearing a lab coat for all I know. I may be a bad guy. I don't know, but it's going to be cool. And I'm going to be there and it'll be great. I dress like James Bond. People call rude because I dress nice. What can I do? Says Dakota Ray Price. So people are being rude that you dress nice. These are not people that you want to know. These are not people you should associate with. These are not people that, if you do need to associate with, like your family, you may want to ignore them. One thing this is my mentality. There's a couple things. First of all, unless those individuals are paying your rent, who gives a shit? You do what you want to do. Wave your freak flag high. The other thing is, people will say like, oh, you're eccentric, you're doing that. Yeah, what is it? What's that great quote from Tomorrow Never Dies? The distance between um, genius and insanity is measured only by success. I guarantee you're all very successful. You don't need to be making millions of dollars a year to be successful, but just even trying to improve your look and the way you connect and your calling card to the world, which is visual at first, and then you open your mouth, and then it's psychological. That's a great thing to do. Why would you want to do that? Now, if somebody comes to you and goes, and listen, I'm sure everybody has had a spouse that did this. Like, are you dressing like James Bond? Or like, why don't you just be yourself? Let me tell you something. Every single generation have had fashion icons, fashion influences. Steve McQueen, perfect example. Marlon Brando, Paul Newman. There'll be ones 10 years from now, too. P. Diddy. There are ones where people kind of connect on that because there isn't anything new. Unless I'm coming out in like, a shirt made out of meat or newspaper clippings. I'm not doing anything unique. However, I can do something. Um, I I like Bond's capability. I like what he stands for. I like the way it looks. I can connect with that outfit. So I go, you know something? I'm not going to walk down the street pretending to be Bond, assassinating people and being misogynistic. But I can connect with the way it looks. I can also use it to act as a foundation for my own style. So, Quantum of Solace started shawl collars with me. I've got an entire closet filled with shawl collars. The Bond experience has something very interesting very soon coming out around shawl collars. So that was an influence. Now I love shawl collars. It's kind of part of my brand. But I don't think like, oh my gosh, I'm James Bond wearing a shawl collar. So it's here and it's here. And don't worry about people. Hello, David. I don't know if somebody asked that already, but if you were in a Bond movie, what kind of character would you like to be? Small or big character you chose? This is from Gold Member 1208. I like this question. I like this. So, Barbara, Michael, Michael Jr. Um, I would like to be, if I had my wish list, I would like to be a double O. And by the way, dress me in a suit, have me sitting in a half circle, getting orders, getting them in an envelope. I don't need to move my lips, but you have a bunch of double O's sitting together, and M says, 007, I want to see you, and everybody scatters. I'll take 3 seconds of that. By the way, I just almost knocked down my video, which really shows you that this is live. But I would love to be a double O. That would be so cool. Or, maybe a double O in a mission. That would be very cool as well. I'm watching kind of the replay of what just happened. Let me just fix the camera real quick, everybody. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I would love to be a double O. I think that would be an incredible amount of fun. Caesar, hello from the Dominican Republic. Big Bond fan here. Hello there, Caesar. I hope Cesar. Am I pronouncing things wrong? By the way, it's part of what I hope you consider my awful charm. I mispronounce things. I get a lot of fun hate from people that fix my pronunciation. Jay Sadowski says, any word on which new Omega? I don't. I honestly don't. I'm not. This is not an embargoed thing. Like, I can't tell you which. I don't know. I do have some good friends out there that are very much better connected with the Omega brand than I am. So I usually rely on their generosity to know. Someone says, next Bond, would love to see David Tennant. I believe he's Doctor Who, and I apologize. I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but I think that's who that is. You never know who it's going to be. I don't know David Tennant that well. Is he the right age? Don't know. David, what's your favorite Royal Filmwear outfit? Greetings from Poland. Hey, Adam. Royal Filmwear, for those of you that don't know, Daniel Love, gentleman who one day woke up and said, crap, I can't afford that piece or that piece, but I'd love to. And he sought out to doing the research, and now he went from trying to get pieces for himself to offering all of us frugal Bond moments, which you've seen us do so many reviews. So Royal Filmwear, my favorite piece to date is still the Quantum of Solace black shawl cardigan, just because he's done so many great iterations of that. Close second is the Solden jacket. I think it's so well done. It's so perfect. I'm in shock at how close he gets, if not dead on, with these things. But I like his ivory cardigan too. I think that was such a cool piece that he came out with. But yeah, I would say those are kind of the order, and then it cascades from there. But I'm always interested to see what he's going to come out with next. I know I have some wish lists on what I'd love him to do. I actually would like him to start to do some leather products. I know it's hard and I know it's expensive, but if anybody can do it, he can do it. Ed R says, what are your thoughts on Bond movies set back in the time of the novels? So Bond in the 1950s in the Cold War. I'm in. I'm not opposed to that at all. Yeah, I would actually love to see that. I think The Man from U.N.C.L.E. visually was really interesting because they had this kind of like style to it. You know, you kind of knew, didn't know what era it takes place in, but I would love it as a period piece. In fact, I think that's an interesting way to reboot. So people are like, I can't get my mind around this new actor. Put him in a different time. Give it a different flair. Give it a different element to it. But Bond in the 1950s would be interesting. My question would be, if they did that, how much would they stay within the 1950s? I mean, 1950s had a different PC sense to it. It had a different vernacular. So would you stay with that, or would you take the, today's sensibilities and tie them to the 1950s? Would be interesting. S. Cruz says, would you be okay with a thing that there would be not an actor who speaks English in the future who plays Bond? Are you saying like a dubbed James Bond? Is that what you're saying, S. Cruz? I'm not too sure there. I don't think that would ever happen. If that's what you're saying, I don't think that's what you're saying. But if you're talking about a non-English, you're saying a non-English Bond actor. My apologies. I'd like to keep the Bond actor from the UK. He could be Scottish. He could be Irish. He has been. He could be English. I don't want to see an American play James Bond. I mean, I'm refraining from getting too much into. I want this limitation in Bond, but keep it to the UK, please. Shout out to me, Washeen 007. There is your shout out. Enjoy your shout out. Is that a thing? It's hard when 51-year-olds shout out, but there it is. Anton Louthander. Hey, David, would you like to see a bigger and more epic climax in Bond 25, a bit like the one in Yolt? Yes. Oh my gosh, I'd love the James Bond hideout and issues and explosions and Bond rolling in the hay with the Bond girl at the end. Yes, bring that all on. That would be pretty damn amazing. By the way, a couple things I do want to impart here. I know we're answering a lot of the questions. The whole idea of what I call press days or press events, as they call them, is going to be something we discuss in future vlogs. We all know that March, there is going to be the press event that kicks off the film. They usually introduce all the actors. They talk about kind of what's the theme or what is the main aspect of the film. They also talk about title. They introduce the director, which we know. A lot of these things we already know. We're hoping beyond hope that the powers that be at Universal and Eon invite some of the people on social media, you know who you are, we hope we're amongst them, to be part of that, because we are the new press. If you go back and watch some of these videos and some of these vlogs, they have actually more views and more hits and more connection with Bond fandom that can spread the word, spread the community message than many of the magazines, many of the news outlets that are on the official press roster. So I'm hoping and praying that in 2019, everybody gets on board with that. It is a real thing. Influencer marketing, utilizing, what they call key opinion leaders, whatever you want to call them, to really spread the word is important. And I'm gonna teach everybody. I'm not gonna stay on this for long, but you'll use this for a cocktail hour later. There's something called flocking, and it's a real thing. It's behavioral science. So when there is a community of strong-minded individuals that connect on a similar thing, they tend to flock together, which means that they connect. So somebody connects on something, and it's not about following, it's about connecting. And they become passionate and authentic and true and all these things. No brand can do this. It has to be done through the individuals that are part of this flocking or community moment. So what I'm hoping is Eon and Universal, very smart, savvy people, really good marketers. I hope that they connect on that in a big way in 2019. Roger Moore was not an American. He was born in Clapham, London, England, says Grant Jukes. Yes, I know that. I like Roger Moore. By the way, Roger Moore was my childhood James Bond. So my first movie was, The Spy Who Loves Me. I remember seeing it. We always used to vacation in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We went to a film. We would always go to a film when it rained. It was raining. My dad brought all us kids to a film. And I remember seeing the shark and seeing all the things. And I'm like, what was this film? Spy Who Loves Me. That was my introduction. So love Roger Moore. Still do. Saddest thing that he's not with us anymore. Relieved that Boyle is leaving? Asks Shane. No, I wouldn't call it relieved. I had a lot of questions on... I didn't have questions about Boyle himself. Talented. I don't think anybody can deny that. I had questions about what I was hearing behind the scenes and even through the rumor mill of what Boyle was trying to do. There were people, I think, in pre-production that were hearing things like, again, an overly PC Bond. And I wasn't looking for a whitewashed Bond. I just was looking for Bond. So I was a little nervous about that. So I'm hoping Fukunaga brings it. I can't flocking wait for Bond 25, says Jay. We're going to use flocking when we have kids in the room. Get to your flocking room. I like that. We're going to use it as a new thing. So, have you read much about Ian Fleming, or are you more interested in the movies than the novels? Great question. I'm definitely more interested in the movies, but I love the novels. I've read them many times. What I tend to do is when I go on vacation, I tend to bring a James Bond novel with me. One that I haven't read in a while, one that I haven't read at all. I like some of the newer novels that are out, but you'll notice that I don't really do vlogs on them because I'm just more interested in the movie. And there's so many things to talk about. I mean, I could do a vlog about every movie and every style and, cufflinks and knives and all these things that are still yet to be done. MT Robin 1000 says, just got here. How much have I missed? It's now 11:24 Eastern Standard Time. We've been going since 10. You didn't miss a good beginning, though, because the first couple minutes were just ugly. But this is actually going to be posted as a regular vlog. I think that's what happens afterwards. So you're fine. You haven't missed anything, and you can still ask a lot of questions. What TV shows do you like to watch? So Danielle and I really enjoy a lot of these kind of binge-watchable types of shows. Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, love Breaking Bad. If you ever seen a show, a lot of Netflix shows called Ozarks. We love like ironic shows that have like really interesting characters. I'm all about interesting characters and stories. Ray Donovan, Ray, huge fan of Ray Donovan. I like Shameless because I've got a really sick sense of humor. What do you think of bringing the Austin Martin DB10 back in Bond 25 with better gadget integration? Says Matt. I'd be fine with it. I'm not beholden to any Aston Martin. I'd be a little surprised that they don't do the new version of the DB5 or a new Aston Martin that they haven't revealed. I know Aston Martin always takes advantage of you doing a new Aston Martin. See The Bodyguard, David, says Kevin. I saw it. I liked it. I liked him in The Bodyguard. I remember him from Game of Thrones. He was great. I think he played like really good, like, stoic policeman. And then all of a sudden, emotional connection. He's physical. If you haven't seen the mini-series, micro-series, whatever you want to call it, Bodyguard, watch it. It's really good. It's extremely authentic, too. They must have had consultants on board that were helping all that. Penny Dreadful, tons of Bond connections, says Mark. I haven't seen it. I saw 1 or 2 episodes, and I forget what it was, but I got hooked into something else. So, Intel Central says, I miss the cars with the gadgets. I do too, but I'm so nervous with Bond car and gadgets that it could be a little hokey. Maybe one gadget, not like, dun, 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 not a whole series of gadgets. I thought Spectre could have done that a little bit better with the car chase, but that's just me. Joseph Darlington said, "Do you mean The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner?" Joseph Darlington, don't you have something better to do? Joseph Darlington of being James Bond. Listen, I like his videos. I like his book. If you haven't seen his book, you should check it out. It's still available on Amazon. It makes incredible kindling, or you can read it. It's really up to you. But Joseph Darlington, don't you have something better to do than to stalk me? You know, we're having a nice conversation globally. There's people from Jamaica, for God's sakes, don't embarrass me. And you're making a nasty face at me. Thank you. We should be able to do the next Bond. Who should be able to do the next Bond score? Asks H.D. Baxter. Again, David Arnold. Stop right there. I want David Arnold. Now listen, here's what I would love. Here's my magic one wish list. I want John Williams to be a consultant for Eon. John Williams from James Bond Radio and the music of Bond. I want him to be called up by Eon and say, John, listen, we're talking about doing these people, but you really know what the Bond fans want and what they connect with. And we're not about servicing Bond fans, but we'd love your opinion. You're such an aficionado and a historian of Bond music. Tell us who we should have. And he should then say David Arnold. That's what I think. There's a little bit of trivia going on amongst you. So Harris is asking Joe Darlington, who sang Goldfinger? He will never guess Shirley Bassey. And by the way, we'll probably do that as a live stream in the future. By the way, I think what we're going to do is we're going to round this up because I think an hour and a half live stream feels really good. We also don't want to do this to death. I think that we were able to answer a decent amount of questions. We were able to proactively talk about Bond 25, Secret Cinema, press day events, nutrition, health, and wellness, which we're going to be talking about more. We talked about the Bond community. We talked about this May New York City tour of Bond Brnds that I mentioned in the beginning. We talked a little bit about March, starting the whole discussion. We talked about Spyscape and Spy Museum, and I think we connected really well. So let's really stop it there. I hope you all had a great start to the day. I hope this was fun. We're going to do more of these, but for right now, we're going to sign off. And there's a new vlog and some new information and some new offerings coming very soon. So make sure that, again, you go up to the little bell in whatever corner it is. Click on that so you're notified about a new video or when we stream. This has been a bit of an experiment, so I really hope that you enjoyed it. This has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience, and now you can see me mess up and try to shut this down. We're going to talk to you all real soon. Take care. All right, if you're still watching, we have 117 people watching right now. That's quite a few people. I am going to sign off, so hopefully you can all see this, and talk to you very soon. Take care.